It's 12:45 a.m. for me. I can't believe I'm up this late. Never up this late, but it's Saturday. Um, Today was such a productive day for me. I cleaned my car, I showered the dogs, I cleaned my oven. Like, I was just doing like really random things that I've been putting off for so long. And I got it done today, and I feel so good about that. But anyways, it is Saturday night. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. You probably won't see this till mid next week. But anyways, today's video is a fun one. I seen this trend on TikTok of people talking about their biggest pet peeves. And I thought it was so funny to hear people's random pet peeves. So I wrote down 10 of my pet peeves, and truly, some of them, I'm like reading them back and I'm like, this sounds so stupid, but when it happens, it really grinds my gears. So I thought I would share. I'm holding the mic because I feel like when I have it on my desk, like, it doesn't sound as good as when I hold it. But if I'm looking down, it's because I have my list written down, because I didn't want to forget anything or be trying to think off the top of my head. You know, when someone asks you a question and like all of a sudden you forget everything. That's how I feel like when I film. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I have a whole idea, or I'm like, I know what I'm gonna say or what I'm gonna talk about. And the moment I hit film, I go blank. I don't remember anything. Alright, so let's start with I wouldn't say this is my number one pet peeve, but this is what I have at number one, is when people leave the toilet seat up or don't flush the toilet. Naturally, I feel like that's a big one for a lot of people. Like, first of all, it's disgusting. Nobody wants to see somebody else's pee or poop. Secondly, I don't want to have to be touching. If it's my toilet seat, okay, I don't mind touching my own toilet seat because I know I clean it. But like, if you're like in somebody's house, or you know what I mean, like, you don't want to be touching nobody else's toilet seat that's not yours. So that truly really bothers me. But yeah, that's heavy on number one. If I am in someone else's house and they did not flush the toilet or put the lid down, like, sometimes I would go as far as not even using the bathroom, even if I have to pee or like I really have to go. I will not use the bathroom sometimes because I'm just like, I'm so grossed out and annoyed by it. I know that may sound dramatic, but it's just how I feel. Alright, number two on my 10 pet peeves list is when someone interrupts. When someone interrupts mid-conversation and then doesn't resume focus. So like, if you're talking to someone and they like either get interrupted or like want to throw something in mid-conversation and then don't resume, like, oh wait, let's get back to the topic. I think that is so rude. Like, I hate that so much. Like, let's say like I'm talking with a friend and my daughter interrupts me. Like, that would happen often. I always like make sure they know that, like, okay, I'm sorry about that, but like, you have my undivided attention. Like, I'm listening. And I'll like say, like, I'll repeat to them the last thing they said to me. You know what I mean? I think it's so rude when someone is like interrupted, or like, let's say like quickly wants to throw something in the middle of you saying something, and like completely changes the conversation, or like doesn't let you finish your thought out or finish what you were trying to say. Like, that really grinds my gears. I say that happen a lot, like in social settings, because obviously, like, everybody's like talking, here and there, and that's why I feel like I try not to get into like deep conversations with people when are like in a social setting, because like I know it will grind my gears, like if I'm in the middle of telling you something serious and like somebody else jumps into the conversation and you just like completely change the subject. Like, I don't like that, but I especially don't like to do that to people either. Like, I think it's super rude. And maybe that's just one of mine because like I talk a lot. I'm a certified camper. But I understand social cues and I pick up on body language. I'm not one of those people that is gonna talk your ear off and not like get the hint or get the vibe like you're done with the conversation, or like, alright, Grace, shut up, you know? I promise I'm very self-aware. But yeah, that's number 2. Number 3 is bad customer service. So that is in healthcare, restaurants, stores, wherever bad customer service really, really grinds my gears. I was in customer service for many years, just like I work in healthcare now. And I really, really cannot stand people who evidently like hate their job, or like you can tell like they're miserable, they don't want to be there. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand like not every day is gonna be a great day, but I mean like people who are just like nasty and rude, like you don't have to be, you know, happy-go-lucky jumping off the wall, you know, with our interaction, but like bare minimum is being respectful and assisting me and making sure that like you're providing me a good service or assisting me in figuring whatever it is out. I'm a sucker for good customer service. Like if you are kind, respectful, like I will buy whatever. Like I'm one of those people, you can sell me anything if you have good customer service. That's a big one for me. It's so like it just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth anytime I go to a restaurant or a doctor's appointment or a store and people are just like rude and nasty. I'm like, I think you need to go home for the day. Alright, coming at number 4. My 4th pet peeve. And this is a little bit more specific. Because I go through this with like my mom or like my brother. But when you call someone and somebody else picks up the phone, or you call someone and they already have you on speakerphone, I hate that. And I don't mean like sometimes I call my mom and my dad will pick up like, oh, your mom's in the bathroom, or no, obviously that doesn't piss me off. But like if I call my mom and she's like there, but my brother decides to pick up her phone, I'm like, put my mom on the phone. Like, I didn't call to talk to you, dude. Like, put her on the phone. And it always seems to be like in the middle of something, like when I really need her, or like when I really need my dad, or like something like that, you know? Like, was a slow walker, I'm not gonna get pissed. I know there's some people that don't like that, but I'm just gonna go around them, you know what I mean? Like, it's not actually gonna piss me off and ruin my day. Some people are like, I can't stand walking behind someone who's like, just move out the way, you know? So yeah, that one's a questionable pet peeve. Number 6, unwarranted touching, invading my space, or people too close to me in line. I am not a person that I want to be touched on, hugged on, kissed on, or anything like that without my permission. I am so big on that. Like, I feel like naturally you shouldn't just be trying to hug up on people or kissing on people like without saying like, oh, can I get a hug, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. I am a very loving person towards like my family and friends, but even then I'm like, I always ask like, is it okay? Can I have a hug? Or like, can I give you a hug? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's so weird how people sometimes just feel so comfortable like trying to touch you, or like touch your hair, your face, touching people's face. Please, no, I don't like that at all. I don't like being touched. I don't like people too close to my face. And out in public, like how people be like on your back in line, like that really irritates me. Like, can you back up? You being on top of me is not gonna make this process any faster. Like, it really irritates me and grinds my gears. Okay, that was number 6. Number 7, and this one is also a very specific one because I've had it happen to me a few times. When people come to your home and you have pets and they're complaining about your pets or the pet hair. That's like me going to someone's house who I know has dogs or cats and complaining about the dog or the cat hair or the animal being in the house. Do you hear how crazy that sounds? I'm going to someone else's home to complain about an animal that lives in their home. That's happened to me a few times, and I'm just like, don't ever come back, please. And don't get me wrong, like, I understand people don't like dogs all up in their face or like jumping on them, and my dogs can be like all, you know, invading space. But if someone is like, no, like, I'm scared, or like, oh, allergic or whatever, like, I can understand that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like I catch offense for stuff like that, but like, I've had some people come to my house and like quite literally just complain about like, oh, there's dog hair on my pants, or like, you let your dogs on the furniture, or this or that. I'm like, it's my freaking house and these are my dogs. Yes, I think that's so like distasteful. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, this is my home and you're complaining about my home, my space, my animals. Please don't come back. Number 8, cheap people. I need to elaborate because I don't mean cheap people like, oh, you like a good deal, I hate you. No, I mean people that, like, for example, if you go out with someone to a restaurant, a friend, and the whole time they're complaining about, this is too expensive, oh, you got money, oh, this, oh, that. Like, that is the topic of conversation at all times. It's always surrounding money. Please, I prefer someone to kindly decline, or to just be like, hey, I don't have it right now, and I can either decide like, you know what, I'll pay for you because I want to enjoy your company, or okay, let's choose something else that is within your budget and not on, I'm not saying that in a shady way, but I think it is just so distasteful to go somewhere with someone, accept an invitation to go somewhere with someone, and the whole time they're complaining about how expensive this is, or like making snarky remarks on like, oh, you got money, you got the, please, just don't. Either you got it or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. Let's go somewhere else. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here like calling you broke. No, because we've all been there in situations that like certain times you just don't have it to go to a restaurant or don't have it to do certain activities, and I completely understand that. But I prefer someone being honest with me than to go somewhere and the whole time they're complaining about the money. Don't do that. That is like, I'm not having fun. You're clearly not having a good time because you're worried about the money. Like, let's just not do that. Be honest, like, hey, I don't think I can do this, but I'm open to do this. Perfect. Or if you're really close, be honest. Like, if it's a close friend, like, hey, honestly, like right now, this doesn't really fit my budget. Can we do something else? Like, just be honest. Communication like that, please. But do not go somewhere with someone and be complaining about money or talking about money or making snarky remarks. Like, that's so gross. I cannot with that. I hate that. Okay. Number 9. People will tell half of a story or try to be mysterious. Oh my God. I naturally, yes, I know I am a nosy person. I am someone who talks a lot. I am someone who wants the details. Do not start telling me a story if you're gonna leave half of the story out. I want to know every single irrelevant detail to a story. Don't sit here and tell me one part and then try to keep the other part like a mystery. I'm gonna ask if you're telling me about something. I'm assuming it's because you're comfortable me knowing the details of it. I'm going to ask, and if you don't want to tell me, I'm annoyed. I feel like that sounds kind of toxic, but like, why are you telling me? Why are you telling me if you're not going to tell me all the details of the story? Doesn't make any sense to me, at least. And honestly, I feel like nowadays, like, that's a thing too. Like, especially like on social media or TikTok, you'll see people post like something like, oh, just like a random example, me and so are no longer together. Please stop asking. What do you mean you guys are not together? What happened? Why? Like, do not try to like give me a little of information and then like not tell me the rest. My friends know me. Like, if you're not gonna give me the nitty-gritty details, don't bring it up. If you're not ready to like have this in-depth conversation with me about it, don't bring it up. And that's not to say like if a friend was like, hey, this is going on, I don't feel ready to talk about it, but like I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Of course I understand that, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely psychotic, but like, you know what I mean? There's people who like intentionally try to like come off as like mysterious and like, you know, they want to keep you guessing. Stop. If you're telling me something, I'm assuming it's because you're okay with me knowing, so I'm gonna ask the questions, I'm gonna dig deeper. Like, please don't do that. I'm nosy. I want to know. Alright. Number 10. I think I have one more. Well, 10 is a good one. I just thought of a random one, so let's say like we have 11 pet peeves. This one is very specific and very random, but something that really grinds my gears is when I'm washing dishes and I'm like putting things on the drying mat, and like let's say somebody's like coming to get a cup to drink something, and I think it's because of social media now, like TikTok and Instagram and all that. People are, like putting their stories out there about relationships, dating, marriage, whatever the case may be, or family issues, family drama, work issues, work drama, school, whatever the case may be. People who are like constantly like, could never be me, or give that vibe of like they're too good, or they're like judging someone's situation specifically. Like, that really bothers me, because first of all, one thing I've learned is that the tables always turn. Okay, God will humble you so quickly. You can never say that can never be me, because baby, it will be you. And something I do understand is, like, let's say someone's telling you like the crazy story, and I can say, like, in my mind, like, if I was in that specific situation, maybe I would have made a different decision or handled it differently. But you can't sit here and talk about a situation you've never been in, first of all. Second of all, like, yes, maybe the decision that person made versus the one you would have made would have been different, but that doesn't give you the right to be like, have this chip on your shoulder, like that can never be me, or like call people stupid, or you know what I mean? Like, that's awful. I see that a lot in videos where like women are talking about, like, let's say like their abusive relationship, or they got cheated on and still decided to stay and try to work the relationship out, or like, let's say like family drama. Like, I see a lot of the comments just are like so toxic, like, oh, that could never be me, like, oh, like, I could never, or things like that. Like, it could be you. It could be you with a remix. That's the only difference, with a remix, but it could be you. Because these situations can happen to anybody. How that person chose to handle it could be different than how you would, but it could still happen to you. Like, I think that's such nasty energy. And for sure, maybe you would make decisions that wouldn't put you in certain predicaments, but you could still never say, could never be me, because God will show you so quick fast that it can be you. It can be you for sure. This microphone is so heavy.